So if you're not real familiar with Office 365, it's a bundle between Office Professional Plus, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and Link Online. The two products, as far as the enterprise version versus the small business version, they really split kind of between small businesses and enterprises, but there's a third version as well that not a lot of people know about, and that's Windows Live. So if you log into Windows Live, you get 25 gigabytes of email storage. You can share documents online, and you can use Office web applications. So that's kind of the free version of Office 365. The small business plan, the Plan P, is really designed for companies around 25 people. It will go up to 50, but there is a hard limit at 50 people, and you can't go over that. And then you have Office 365 for enterprises. And there's lots and lots of different enterprise plans that you can configure. For the small business users, when you first look at the capabilities of the plan, it looks very similar to what you get for the enterprise plan as far as 25 gigs of mailbox storage. You get SharePoint sites, you get Office web applications, you get Microsoft Link. You get a lot of nice features there for $6 per user per month. And in fact, when you compare feature by feature to some of the enterprise offerings, it looks like a really, really good deal, and it is. But you need to be aware that there's some limitations with the small business plan, and that's what I want to talk about today. As far as the main capabilities of the small business plan, the email and the calendaring, the Office web apps and websites and collaborations, I think Office web apps would be the one that's pretty powerful. Office web applications not even offered with the enterprise plan until you get to the E3, which is a $24 per user per month seat. E3 and downloading Office onto the desktop. So some of the higher level enterprise plans give you Office web apps, but the base enterprise plan with Office 365 does not. So a really good deal for the small business plan that you get Office web applications. Now, just because you're a small business doesn't mean you absolutely should not consider the enterprise plan. If you want to synchronize your on-premise Active Directory with the same user privileges and permissions and single sign-on with your Office 365 in the cloud, you're going to need the enterprise plan. The small business plan does not support that. Also, if you want advanced email archiving like legal hold, unlimited archiving, BlackBerry Enterprise Server, or you want a high level of support, you'd be able to call Microsoft anytime you have an issue, you're going to need the enterprise plan. Now, overall, when you set up a small business plan with Office 365, basically you hand over all of your DNS registration to Microsoft. So if you host it at GoDaddy or some other kind of third-party host, basically all of that moves over to Microsoft. Now, if you're in an enterprise plan, you can pick and choose. You can say, well, my mail server is hosted by Microsoft, and it's, you're going to have the GoDaddy listing point to the Microsoft mail server. And the same thing for SharePoint, for your external-facing web server. You're still going to have your current DNS hoster. You're just going to point those servers to Microsoft. So there's a big difference there. Another one is delegated administration. So the concept of having someone who's in charge of your email, another person who's in charge of your SharePoint, that's available in the enterprise plans. In the small business plan, it's not. You basically have one administrator, and they're going to come in and configure your SharePoint portal, your Exchange portal, or mess with the settings with Microsoft Link. I already mentioned directory synchronization with Active Directory is not supported with the small business plan, but it is supported with the enterprise plans. And support, this is one that a lot of folks don't think about until after they're up and running. There is no 24/7 phone support for the small business plan. Microsoft has a pretty rich set of community-based support tools around websites and blogs that are monitored by Microsoft personnel. And there's a lot of information out there. You just can't pick up the phone and talk to them. Now let's talk a little bit about SharePoint. This is really where it gets a little complicated. So the small business plan, You can't do custom workflows like using SharePoint Designer to publish your custom workflow. There are no My Sites, but there are in the enterprise plans. You can't use Form Server, Excel services, or Visio services in the small business plan. In fact, you can't use that in the Enterprise 1 and Enterprise 2 plans as well. You have to go all the way up to the Enterprise 3 and 4 plans to get those. Here's what's interesting, access services. So the ability to take your Access database and publish that directly onto your SharePoint site, you can do that with a small business plan. You can't do that with the first two enterprise plans. You have to buy the more expensive E3 and E4 plans to do that. Another big one, number of site collections in SharePoint is 1, where you can create 300 in the enterprise plans. And some other options here, the storage that you get when you sign up for the small business plan in SharePoint is what you get. You can't go today, you can't go out and add additional storage, whereas the enterprise plans you can. If you log into the SharePoint site in the small business plan, you'll notice it's an HTTP authentication. It is not HTTPS. That is only available with the enterprise plans. The other interesting thing, too, is Microsoft is giving up to 50 users free access to your SharePoint portal as extranet users if you're in the small business plan. If you're in the enterprise plan, you can also set this up, but you actually have to pay per user for those extranet users as they come in. So that's a nice one. And the stipulation there is those extranet users have to have a Windows Live ID, and you can assign permissions to them based on their Windows Live IDs. Talk about email. Talked about Active Directory Federation services and single sign-on. Active Directory Federation services is the ability to, let's say you have an Exchange server on site, and you want to maybe move some of your departments into the cloud, but not all of your users. ADFS allows you to manage both cloud-based mailboxes and on-premise mailboxes through your Exchange administrative console. That's available in the enterprise plans. It's not available for small business. You also have advanced archiving and unlimited email archive in the Enterprise 3 and 4 plans. We don't have that with small business or the first two enterprise plans. Mailbox size, as far as being topped out at 25 gigabyte, you can't grow that beyond 25 gigs with a small business plan. You can expand it with the enterprise plans. Directory synchronization, this is basically pulling up user account information and Active Directory groups into your SharePoint site. Can't do that with a small business plan. It is supported with enterprise plans. And the same support applies for Exchange as it does with SharePoint. That is a very quick overview of the really important differences between small business and enterprise Office 365 plans. If you have questions, if we didn't hit something that you're real concerned about, send us an email at info@eastridge.net. And like Alex said, if you follow us at Eastridge Tech, constantly putting new stuff out there on Twitter, new links, blogs, articles, things that are relevant for our customers and anybody in the Microsoft community that is using Office 365. Thank you very much.